Do you look at this and see Putin as the good guy or the bad guy?
Does Trump see Putin as the good guy or the bad guy? I think Trump doesn't understand the agency Putin has over the situation because Trump doesn't understand the situation. Now, we're going to watch this full clip, but this is an argument I've been having with the audience a lot. And you guys have won me over a bit, but I'm not ceding the ground fully. We've talked about whether Trump was a Russian asset in the sense that he's being paid by Putin, or whether he's such a malignant narcissist that he just thinks Putin is his friend and thinks that he can trick Putin or build a relationship with Putin. Now, let me know which one you guys think it is, the first or the second. I've always thought Trump was just a malignant narcissist, but you guys won me over. I got an interesting email. Someone said, just because he's a malignant narcissist doesn't mean he can't also be an asset. Russia can be leveraging the fact that he's a malignant narcissist to turn him into an asset long term. They don't have to be sending him ACH wire transfer payments. That is a conspiracy theory. But what Russia does is they groom him. Literally, they groom him into thinking that Putin is the good guy in this war. And Trump has such a shallow understanding of the conflict that he thinks Putin actually doesn't have that much agency.
Do you look at this and see Putin as the good guy or the bad guy?
So I've known him very well, and I went through a lot of things with him because Russia was, the Russia hoax turned out to be a total hoax.
Trump is under the impression that he went through something with Putin, that him and Putin have a trauma bond. The Russia hoax trauma bonded them so much that Putin should do him a favor. That actually backs up what I'm saying. Trump isn't playing some Machiavellian game here. He's just being an idiot and saying, Putin and I went through something. That is him giving the tell. He thinks him and Putin have a special, unique relationship because he's a malignant narcissist.
Or the bad guy.
So I've known him very well. And I went through a lot of things with him because Russia was, the Russia hoax turned out to be a total hoax. New York Times, they got a Pulitzer Prize. They have to give back the Pulitzer Prize. That's my lawsuit. And they're doing very poorly in that lawsuit. But, they wrote stories about how it was true and it was false. And, a lot of Washington Post also. I have gotten to see things that I was very surprised at. Rockets being shot into cities like Kiev.
That was surprising. Rockets getting shot into Kiev is surprising. That's how you know Trump has not been reading his briefings, as many reports said. You guys read this report, right? Trump was only sat for 12 daily intelligence briefings since taking office. The scarcity of President Trump's daily briefings comes as he pursues high-stakes diplomacy with America's friends and foes. So as he's doing high-stakes negotiation with Vladimir Putin, he doesn't even know what's going on in the world. He doesn't know what Putin is doing. You can't negotiate if you don't know your enemy, if you don't know your own position, if you don't know the history of any of this. So this dude is skipping his daily intelligence briefings and then is surprised when Russia strikes Ukraine.
I have gotten to see things that I was very surprised at. Rockets being shot into cities like Kiev during a negotiation that I felt was maybe very close to ending. We were going to solve a problem, and then all of a sudden rockets got shot into a couple of cities. And
there's more to this clip, but do you want to know why Vladimir Putin continues to stretch out the war? It's because the Trump admin told Putin to do that. Not explicitly, but they implicitly signaled to Putin that if he stretches the war out longer and longer, he will win. Both Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance and Donald Trump have all said something to the effect of, if this war doesn't end soon, the U.S. is just going to have to back off and be done with it. We're going to be done with the war if you guys don't stop it soon. What that signals to Vladimir Putin is that if he just continues to stretch the war out and continue to throw his people in the meat grinder, then the U.S. will stop backing Ukraine and that he gets a win. You guys get what I'm saying there, right?
People died. I saw things that I was surprised at. So, and I don't like being surprised. So I'm very disappointed in that way. With that being said, I'd like to see it end. 5,000 people, I think the number's even more than that, but 5,000 people a week are being killed mostly soldiers, but also people that live in little cities and towns throughout Ukraine. And I'd like to see that stop.
You'd like to see it stop. This is the problem. Trump uses stronger language when he's talking to Zelensky in the Oval Office about what he's wearing than when he's talking to Vladimir Putin about, murdering people. We need actual, real diplomacy and policy, not theatrics. Trump repeatedly, over and over, falls for Putin's tricks, and I'm over it. You know what's surprising to me? Peter Doocy sometimes does ask good questions wrapped in sarcasm.
Do you look at this and see Putin as the good guy or the bad guy?
So I've known him very well.
We really don't know. And here is Elon Musk talking about criminals in the United States while he's sitting next to one.
I think the fundamental moral flaw of the left is empathy for the criminals and not empathy for the victims. Empathy for the criminals, but not empathy for the victims. And there's been way too much of that. That needs to stop. To the president.
That is the entire Trump administration summed up in one line. People have empathy for Elon Musk and Donald Trump as they strip Medicaid away from the most vulnerable Americans. What he's referencing right now, basically, is like probably George Floyd. George Floyd was the victim in the situation. Elon Musk is standing next to a criminal. He's a criminal himself, and he's referring to Democrats applying empathy to situations like Black Lives Matter or other situations. So when somebody commits a crime, for example, and Elon Musk then labels them a criminal over and over, and the Democrat says, hey, this person should have due process without being murdered on the streets, like George Floyd, or deported, like Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, he says that is too much empathy. It also applies to Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia. When he references us having empathy for Kilmar, it's because we want him to have due process. It's insane. And also, you know what's really funny about this? You want to talk about having empathy for the criminal. Trump is the one who has way too much empathy for Vladimir Putin. Meanwhile, the victim, Ukraine, they're not giving any empathy to. That perfectly loops back conceptually to what they were just saying in that last clip. If you want to refer to having too much empathy for one side and not having enough empathy for the other side. It's absolutely wild to me that Elon Musk says this.
I think the fundamental moral flaw of the left is empathy for the criminals and not empathy for the victims. Empathy for the criminals, but not empathy for the victims. And there's been way too much of that.
He is just inversing reality right here. Absolutely inversing reality and hiding the black eye from his camera. I think I'm going to leave it at that. If you appreciate the work that I do, if you appreciate the work that we all do on a day-to-day basis, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. While you guys are here, I'm going to make a soft announcement that we're going to be launching a Gen Z based media company where you can watch it if you're any age, but it's going to be Gen Z hosts funneling throughout the day, so we have the relentless output and volume to match MAGA media. Now, right-wingers won the last election a lot because of their media, because of the volume that they put out. So we're going to be here to pounce on every single lie told by Elon, Caroline, Trump, and I want you guys to be there with me. So I love you all. Thank you, and peace out.